Hello, everyone, and welcome to Time Teller Diaries. Now, there's something fascinating about watches that were never designed to be luxury items. No polished marketing, no celebrity ambassadors, no Swiss prestige, just pure functionality. And today we are looking at one of the most interesting examples of that philosophy, which is the Vostok Komandirskie 650841, or for us who might not be able to pronounce the command risk as fluently, simply the Vostok Commander 650841. This is a watch that was born from the Soviet military heritage, built with Quirky engineering, which I'll demonstrate, and somehow still surviving decades later with a cult following. And the craziest part, you can still buy one of these for price of a dinner date. The Vostok story began during Second World War when the Chistopol watch factory was relocated deep into the Soviet Russia for wartime production. Eventually, the factory became the official supplier to the USSR Ministry of Defense, primarily for military use and then obviously for a public use. The Komandirskie line, launched in the 1965, quickly became associated with Soviet military officers. So, if you were a commander or held at a certain position in the Soviet military, you did have one of these watches, and I'm obviously sure you'd proudly wear one of these. Now, this specific model, the 650841, carries the unmistakable Vostok DNA. It has the bold military styling, the rugged simplicity, mechanical movement, and absolutely zero concern for modern luxury trends. And this thing feels like it came straight out of the Cold War equipment locker. And honestly, that's exactly why the enthusiasts love it. Now, first thing that you notice about the 650841 is its dial. It has unmistakable Russian military aesthetic. You have these high contrast numericals, very functional layout, no unnecessary clutter, and a design language that prioritizes readability over refinement. Um, the numericals are so vividly and clearly presented that it's hard to literally just miss any of the numbers or the imprints. The case has the classic command risk feel, slightly industrial and slightly round around the edges, but authentic. And then there is the acrylic crystal. Yes, acrylic. It's not sapphire, not even mineral in many cases. But here's the thing, the distortion and the warmth of acrylic actually adds character to this watch. Now, when the light hits the dial at angles, it creates a vintage effect that modern watches often try to imitate artificially, but this one very cleverly catches that vintage look. Inside the watch is mechanical Vostok movement, which is simple, rugged, and surprisingly durable. This watch I've had for almost 2 years, and I might have worn this maybe no more than 3 or 4 times with gaps of about, you know, 3, 4, or even 5 months. And all I had to do is wind the watch and it'll just go on. So let's be honest about it. This is not a Swiss watch, neither does it pretend to be one. This does not pretend to be a Swiss level finishing. So what you're getting is a movement architecture that has proven itself for decades. It's solid, it's rugged, and yes, it has been built right. So some of the impressions that I had in the beginning, were quite as you might be feeling when you are watching this video. So might look at the specs. It's right at 41 millimeters. The bezel is coming at 40 millimeters, so just about the size. The thickness is 14.9 or 15 mm, which is right around 2 mm more than what usual automatics are. This is an automatic movement, and it is a very beautifully constructed automatic which gives like that rugged feel to it. And you have the right blend of the circular shapes, the angles, and the brushed look, and also the way the bezel has been, enamel coated. The first time that I tried to move the bezel, it was really hard. It is a movable bezel, but it is really hard to move. I mean, it's not, again, one of the Swiss watches which quite easily, smoothly move the bezel, but in this one, it does move, but it does take a lot of your effort. And like I said, this is an aftermarket uh, strap, which is 20 mm. Again, very very convenient 20 mm, because you get lots of aftermarket straps. Now this is the strap that the watch originally came with, which is, again, you can see some Russian inscribed here. So I decided that this was a little bit too, you know glittery for my taste of wear, even though I have no absolutely reservations to say that the strap is not a good quality strap. It is solid, and it is by no means sort of giving you a feel of a hollow strap. But I, for one, wanted to get something which is more, you know, matching with what I really wanted to go out with. Again, this is works really well with a casual styling, for me. Now, the Vostok movement does have a personality, and I'll explain why. Because the first time I opened the crown to wind it, I thought I broke it, because if you see this, it's wobbly, literally wobbly, and that's the way it is designed. So nothing wrong with this crown. So you basically would, obviously take it out, unscrew it, and then this is how you winding it. It does slip, so it is very unpredictable, because you see this. Now I'm unintentionally winding the crown back to its original position, whereas I really wanted to wind the watch. So it is unpredictable, but that is normal. So, it don't take that against this beautifully made Vostok. Now, one thing that's interesting about this watch is the way you are able to change the date on it. So you would pull the crown out and would move the hour hand. Obviously, this is the regular way of doing it, where if you cross the 24 hours, it'll automatically, update the date. But let's say if I had to update, 10, 15 dates ahead, if I'm wearing it after a certain gap. Now, the manual which obviously comes in Russian. And so conveniently, I was able to use the Google Translate. Thanks to technology, it gave me instruction that you basically would pass the 12 o'clock position and then unwind, going back to 8 o'clock, and then again go back past 12. And there you go. You saw that move from 23 to 24, and that is how you can quickly move past the dates. There you go, 25. So that is a unique feature, a great conversation kind of a piece, So the technology obviously makes it easy for you to read through these little literature packets that came with the watch, kind of strips, which has instructions in Russian, and I believe some warranty information. This particular watch, I think, was manufactured, and again, given how it's been printed or was followed, could be the date first. So if it's date first, it's the 6th of May 2021. So the watch is absolutely 5 years old from the time I'm making this review. So this is those adjustment of the crown, and obviously explained in Russian, which then became easy for me with Google Translate to translate and then be able to follow with this date update, which I found to be really interesting, to say the least. So the real reason, I fell in love with Vostok, and I see many of the forums, is not because it's perfect. Basically it feels real. It is what it is, and they make no pretense of stating otherwise. In the world of overly polished luxury watches and the endless homage designs, the Commandersk feels very original. It does not try to imitate Rolex. It doesn't pretend to be luxury. It is profoundly Soviet inspired, mechanical, affordable, and weird in the best possible way. Now, there is also a massive modding community around the Vostok watches. So you'd find a whole lot of bezels, dials, and straps, case modifications that can go with for a Vostok. People absolutely love customizing these things, and because prices are relatively affordable, owners actually wear them instead of babying them. I mean, I've heard of folks who buy high-end luxury watches, 20, 30, 40,000, and all they do is keep them in a locker. So this one, I could scratch it, I could wear it, uh, do whatever I want. I mean, basically, it's that real watch, uh, which doesn't pretend to be anything else. On the wrist, the 650841 wears comfortably and has a lot of vintage character. It is lightweight compared to many modern dive watches, and that actually makes it easy to wear daily. So I'm wearing it, I'm feeling very comfortable, and it fits very well on my wrist, and I'm not feeling any overweight based on the size of this watch. So you constantly notice little things. I mean, the ticking mechanical movement looks very precise. The acrylic reflection, which honestly does not feel acrylic. I don't know if it will fade out in next 5-10 years. They turn acrylic normally would fade out to become a little yellowish, but for now it's holding that true sapphire crystal like look very well. And this watch is what, already 5 years old, and the military inspired dial. So this is the kind of watch that sparks conversation among enthusiasts. And most people who look at this watch are genuinely kind of interested in looking at the uh, the name written here, which is in Russian, which is the Komandirskie. And then, even though these are very tiny to read, but if you were to, let's say, have somebody read it, they are in Russian, and on the reverse, it's everything Russian engraved. So everybody has a story about this watch. That's why you find many watch enthusiasts, they would love to have one of these in their collection. Now, let's be realistic, the watch is not for everyone. So the quality control can be inconsistent, the finishing is basic, the accuracy may vary, even though in my personal experience, um, I've not had this watch lose, too much of time other than other mechanical watches. So it's not overly out of the band, of plus minus maybe a minute, half a minute, a day or something, which is quite normal with the mechanical automatic watches. So if you're expecting Swiss refinement at this price point, you're looking at the wrong watch. I mean, this is honestly something that connects you to uh, the Cold War Soviet, or the Second World War Soviet uh, manufacturing. If basically you somehow want to be connected at an affordability range, then this is the watch. Maybe watching a old Cold War thriller, watching the with this watch, that is a different experience. That's part of the experience. That is the Commander's experience. So it's not about perfection, it's about character. So the Vostok Komandirskie 65841 represents something increasingly rare in the modern watch world: authenticity. It's affordable, it's mechanical, historically connected, and completely unconcerned with modern trends. It's not trying to mimic or replicate any other watch. It's not trying to be something else otherwise than what it is. So it's a watch with a story, and sometimes that's far more interesting. So, what do you think about the Vostok watches? And I look forward to hearing from you. If you've watched the video so far, is would you wear a Soviet inspired mechanical watch in 2026? Now let me know in your comments, and if you enjoy this review, do not forget to like, subscribe, and check out more videos here on Time Teller Diaries. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.